We're trying to grow our talent, be more diverse, so that we can serve our customers better.
Welcome to We're Only Human, a podcast focused on blending research and practical advice to help today's HR, talent, and learning leaders improve business outcomes. Let's welcome your host, Ben Eubanks.
Hey everyone, this is Ben Eubanks. Recently I had the chance to visit Oracle Open World, had a great time there, and got to interview a few customers about some of the things they're doing around HR technology, HR strategy, HR transformation. All in all, it was a very fun set of conversations. And so over the next month or so, we'll be dropping an episode or two around that, and hope you enjoy this very first one with Jim Rhodes from Emerson Electric.
Today's episode is sponsored by People Strategy. From intuitive, hire to retire HR technology to comprehensive benefits consulting and HR services, People Strategy offers employers a single source for the tools and services necessary to attract, manage, and retain talent. They're a full-service broker, and People Strategy works with clients to identify competitive benefits packages to meet the needs of their employees, the families, and their company's financial obligations. They also provide clients with a technology suite to simplify recruiting, hiring, onboarding, payroll tax, open enrollment, benefits, and more. One provider, one price. Let People Strategy help you develop your people strategy.
Hey everybody, this is Ben Eubanks, host of We're Only Human. Good to have you here today. It's going to be a fun conversation. We're going to talk about technology. We're going to talk about some interesting talent challenges, things like that. And today with me here in the beautiful Oracle Studios in San Francisco, we have Jim Rhodes. He's the VP of HRIS at Emerson Electric. Welcome, Jim.
Hey, thank you. Glad to be here.
Absolutely. So tell us a little about who you are, what you do.
Well, who I am. So I lead Emerson's global HRS and payroll operation. And my job is to try to get all of our businesses together on one unified platform to really help drive the Emerson's, one Emerson people strategy within the company.
Excellent. So you're more than that. You mentioned a minute ago you're from Tennessee originally.
That's true.
Where are you based now?
I'm based in St. Louis, Missouri.
St. Louis.
Yes.
Visited St. Louis this summer with a family. It was so hot, but also so nice. We really enjoyed it.
Well, it's also hot down south too, right? So.
Yes. That is the nature of the game. Something you maybe don't miss as much now, being up a little bit higher in the country. So, one of the things I want to ask you about. Let's talk a little bit about what Emerson Electric does first, okay? Because that's despite almost everybody probably touching a product or touching something that Emerson's done, they might not know who they are or what you guys do. So tell us a little more about the business side of it before I ask about some industry talent challenges, things like that.
So we're a global technology and engineering company that creates innovation solutions in the industrial, commercial, and residential space. And, we have 88,000 employees in over 80 countries, around the globe. We're an $18 billion, company. Mainly, a lot in the oil and gas space, as well as the commercial and residential solution space with scroll technology and air conditioning and things like that.
Okay, awesome. So talk about some of the challenges that you see on the talent front, right? One of the things I'm always curious about is everybody hears everything kind of the big picture. Oh, it's hard to recruit people these days, things like that. But for example, one of the interviews that I had earlier, we talked about their specific industry because they have technical trade jobs. I would imagine you have some of those same things, or you're recruiting for engineers, which there's never enough of, it seems like. So talk about some of the talent challenges that you are seeing for your company or for your industry.
Yeah, I mean, clearly talent acquisition is a big issue, right? And particularly for us, we are an older line manufacturing company, and so as our executives continue to age, right, we are facing a talent gap, right? So we're trying to identify and develop the next generation of leaders. Plus, also trying to attract more minorities and females into the engineering manufacturing space, right? That's not necessarily a very sexy business to be in, but we're trying to grow our talent, be more diverse, so that we can serve our customers better.
Yeah, one of the things that popped in my head, you said, 130 years old, the company probably has some great legacy, some great traditions and things, but it's also you're getting the pull of we're having to be a little more modern, right? Changing maybe the brand and the recruiting side, things like that. So an interesting space to be in, for sure. So one of the things I want to talk to you about is You guys are using Oracle's cloud HCM products. I'm really curious. I hear from a lot of people that are looking to get a piece of technology. They say, hey, we've decided we need this, but now what? I'm not sure what the next step is. How do I get my leadership team on board? How do I build a business case? What sort of things are going to matter, and how can I build that case? Any advice for someone that's asking that question?
Yeah, so you really do have to think through that, right? And for us, it was kind of simple. So we had multiple enterprise HR systems, right? We were a very decentralized company over the majority of the life of the company. And so we had a PeopleSoft instance that was serving a piece of the business. We had an Oracle eBusiness Suite HR system serving a different segment of the business. And then we had the rest of the company on every HR payroll application known to man, right? So from a business standpoint, it doesn't take a rocket science to figure out. It takes a lot of energy, a lot of money, and a lot of resources to manage all those disparate systems, right? So the business case was, let's get everybody unified onto a common full suite application. We'll be able to be more effective in supporting and developing the solution to better serve our customers, which are our employees, the next generation leaders, right, through the applicants that are coming into the company. So that was really our biggest ROI. And plus, as we were transforming the company and realigning it into two business platforms, we created a one Emerson people strategy. And to be able to really support and align the HR strategy, we needed a unified system to be able to do that, to be able to drive our talent management activities in the company.
It's hard to say one Emerson when you have 18 different HR solutions in the back end trying to run all that, right?
Absolutely.
One of the things that I hear from some companies that have made that transition, hey, we've gotten away from the fragmented kind of tech stack to a single solution. One of the things that they're excited about is kind of having all their data in one place, right? Being able to see that picture accurately, one source of truth versus, okay, who we're going to believe today about how many employees we have, or even like as simple as that. I heard a story a few years ago about a company that the CEO said, I realized we had a problem when I asked 3 different people, and they told me we had 3 different headcount numbers the exact same day. Like the accounting team told them one thing, the HR team told them something else, and so that's a simple example, right? But in the big picture, being able to have all your data in one place allows you to make better talent decisions, allows you to be able to see the full picture, things like that.
Absolutely, and you must have talked to our CEO, because that was clearly a challenge that we had in the company. By the time you rolled up the headcount numbers, they were already stale and outdated, right? But you're right. Analytics is the thing that probably excites us the most. Now we're going to be able to get insights into our company and be able to respond to those in a more proactive manner versus being more of a reactive HR organization. And and by doing that, having all the data in one place, by going with the full suite, HR system versus trying to cobble up a bunch of best of breed solutions, we're going to have all the data in one place. It's going to be real time, so you can go from, taking an applicant that you've made an offer to through the recruiting system, create them as an employee in the HR system, instantaneously, real time, and be ready to start paying them and onboard them much faster.
Yeah. Well, I think one of the things you said earlier, I don't want people listening to miss that connection. You said we were able to really align with the business strategy, right, by coming together on this one Emerson piece. And I think that ties in there too, right? You said proactive HR, not just something bad happens, we'll come and help you, but we want to be in the mix because we're planning for what's next. We're trying to prepare people. You mentioned the early on, the succession piece, right? Yep. Building bench strength on the leadership side. So those things can't happen if you don't have a picture of where you are today and knowing where you're going from the HR side of the house. If you're just waiting for someone to call you and invite you to the meeting, you're going to be late to the party every time.
Absolutely. I mean, you got to be able to do your strategic workforce planning, right? Be able to look ahead, see what's coming, start to fill the pipeline with the right applicants for the right roles that you need, and get them onboarded and developed quickly inside the organization. If you're not aligned with the business, you're going to be always being reactive and behind the 8 ball every single time.
Yeah. I wonder if that, in the big picture, I think that's one reason HR kind of gets a bad rap sometimes, is because they're always waiting they come in when something bad happens. They might get called when that happens, but if you had been in the planning from the beginning, you could have prevented that. You could have helped mitigate that. The impact wouldn't have been as bad. Like lots of potential outcomes. We can't see the future. We don't know all those scenarios, but I think for a lot of companies, having having the person in the mix that says, I'm going to think about how we can best use the most expensive resource our company has, how we can best align those with the direction we're going as a company, you're going to end up with better results in general.
Yeah.
Okay. Ooh, take a breath for a second. All right. So transition just a little bit. I love that. I love the answer there. Some good piece of information. I want to talk about the decision, right? I am completely sure that you decided you wanted a new solution and you just snapped your fingers and it all happened because you made that decision, right?
I wish.
Not. Yeah, probably not. Yeah. So that's another one. Again, these all come from questions I get a lot, and so I want to hear from someone that's actually been through this. When we've got a need, I've identified a business case, I've got this together. Who needs to be in that decision, right? Does IT need to be in the loop? If so, what sort of language do you speak to them so that they are excited about this change, right? Instead of feeling like, HR's up to something else again, right? How can we get them in the loop? How do we get the C-suite in the loop so that everyone feels like they're on the same page and you're all pulling in the same direction versus you coming to them with a solution and then crossing your fingers and hoping they're all going to be on the same page?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's clearly not just one set of people inside the organization. For us, it was a combination of HR, IT, and as well as senior management. When you go from an on-premise solution to the cloud, security is a big concern, right? You want to make sure that you got an extremely secure solution. And while we think, we were really good at securing our on-premise solutions, but at the end of the day, Oracle was better at it than we are, right? Mm-hmm. That's not the business that we're in, right?
No.
We're in the business of producing product for our customers and getting those solutions to them fast. And so Oracle has built a business model around, the cloud, and they're able to secure that much more effectively and stay ahead of the bad actors than we'll be able to do.
Yes.
So once we got beyond that was actually huge, right? So, the IT really helps us identify the architecture and validate that the security model is where we need to be. From the HR space, we really have to understand, what is it we're trying to achieve with our HR strategy and what pieces of the solution do we need to get in place to be able to support and drive that in an effective, productive way and achieve. And from senior management, it was like they were looking at the cost, right? Managing all these disparate systems, and that just makes no sense. Plus, with that talent gap that we had, we needed to know who our talent was in all four corners of our global universe, right? And with those disparate systems, you didn't know who your employees were, who your next leaders were. How are you going to tap into them and make sure that they're, developed and ready for their next assignment? Mm-hmm. So that was really kind of the really three big areas that was involved in trying to make this decision happen.
Awesome. And I love that. One of the things I'm always advising employers to do when they're trying to make this decision is you've got to talk to them in their language, right? You talked about IT security. Like you say security and they perk up like a dog that hears the dinner bell. They're so excited to talk about that because that's the world they live in. That's the language they care about. If you went to your IT team and said, hey, let's talk about employee engagement, who cares, right? That doesn't matter to them in the big picture. With your leadership team, I love that you said cost, ROI, like those things matter to them. Mm-hmm. You said the talent gap does because that actually impacts the business. You can't hire the right people. You can't deliver to your customers. All those things kind of feed together. But I love that piece of it because this is validating for me to hear that the advice is right on. So I'm hearing some good things here. One last question, if you don't mind.
Okay.
What does the employee experience look like for those people that are using the product every day, whether they're getting paid, they're clocking in, or whatever, the people that are actually using this as end users? Because we talk a lot about what it's like for us, and I know your world is much simplified. Probably your managers are happy you're not having to remember 6 logins or 6 different systems. What are the employees at the other end of that are seeing this? What's their experience like?
Yeah. So we're a bit on a journey, but that journey is looking much better. Before, we had a learning system that was in a different application, different user experience, different UI, different independent recruiting system, independent HR, maybe independent payroll. Now coming in a full suite, it's a very consistent look and feel. Single sign-on with multi-factor authentication built in. So when an employee comes into the system, we already know who they are, take them right into the system, and they have one dashboard to go everywhere they need to go, whether it's to look for a new career opportunity, whether to sign up or take training through the application, update their address, enroll in their benefits, go see their online pay slip, update their direct deposit information. It's all in one place. Before, they would have to take hours. They'd go fill out a form, walk down to HR, turn it in, someone keyed it in, or they had to try to meander their way through a bunch of different systems that had inconsistent user experience for them. So much better.
Awesome. Love that. We talk about the single source of truth for us, like as the business leaders, but I think the single source of truth for them, it just simplifies everything, right? It's less of a hassle, it's less of a pain point. And usually when they're trying to do something as simple as changing an address or whatever else, it's already a hectic time anyway. They're not going there to change stuff because it's fun, but because it's necessary for their life to move on. Yeah. And so making it as easy as you can, as consistent as you can, it's the little things that make it great to work somewhere.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Anything else we didn't cover? I've grilled you pretty hard, but you told me to because you're from Tennessee. I'm from Alabama.
Yeah, I know. I'm a volunteer, even though you don't know if you're a Roll Tide or War Eagle, but
football agnostic. Always have been, always will be. But awesome. This has been so much fun, Jim. I really appreciate you joining me.
Hey, thank you, Ben.
Absolutely. To everybody else, this has been We're Only Human, and we'll catch you next time.
Thank you for listening to We're Only Human. Please take a moment to share this episode with another HR leader who might see it as a valuable resource in their daily work. For more information about the podcast and to see all our show archives, please visit upstarthr.com.